Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
No, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
What is up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to my show. I'm the American Anchor Baby. Thank you for joining me. Looks like everything's working, I think. Very nice. Gonna get into some stuff today. Gonna deal with a little bit of... I did some of my homework, okay? You guys proud? I did my homework on some of the topics yesterday. One in particular about the airplane... Well, not yesterday. It was Tuesday. But it was about flight plans, pilots, and the flat earth. I had an interesting call with Robert, and it was interesting for a number of reasons. I'm not so interested in figuring out if the earth is round or flat. I am interested in how people think and the language they use. And there's logical questions that you can have. And you should stay, you should stay within logic is my point. If you say, you know what I'm saying? Like, you bring up a point, there's a logical next step to the conversation. But it seems like people make big conclusions without following logic and kind of following and doing their homework if they have to. You know what I mean? So we're going to get into this a little bit here. As the pilot of the JLP network, of course, trained pilot, do a great job. Don't look into any of the black box recordings of our previous flights. No need to do that. Okay, all I'm saying is everything's fine. Everything's kosher on Anchor Baby Airlines. But as the pilot, I feel like I got to deal with some of this. And we're going to get into black privilege. Okay. We got a little thing on black privilege, okay? So we're going to deal with that as well. And your calls, 888-775-3773. You can call me and talk to me if you disagree. I don't know a lot of this stuff. I just did my homework on the flight path thing and the Gleason map and a bunch of things that were brought up yesterday. This topic was brought up before a while ago. On my show, someone called in, and I didn't know. The plane just goes. I put the computer in, the plane goes to where it needs to go. Of course, I'm revealing my lack of training and knowledge like a real pilot. Okay, so don't take this as complete fact. But we're going to be using facts though. Right? Okay, so what is up, chat? Hey, what's up, chat? Just checking in on you guys. Very cool. So let's jump right in. Why not? Let's jump in because let me give you a refresher. If you don't know, I sometimes fly. I started doing my show a while ago. I was just streaming from my computer, okay? And somewhere along the way, I remembered how I used to fly planes virtually in simulators for fun a long time ago. And I got into the whole, simulated flying, as well as this like community of enthusiasts who get on this network and they talk to each other like as if they were air traffic controllers, and they try and do it legit. It's all enthusiasts, but there's factual data being used. There's flight plans that I create for these flights are done using real world flight data. They use the AIRAC cycle, which I'm going to get into and explain here in a moment. And so I guess I'm somewhat of an authority that has to be taken down by the flat earthers. And again, let me just say, I'm not making any claims on what the earth is, if the earth is flat or not, because I haven't gone up in space. I haven't seen it myself, the curve myself. I'm trying to remember times I've been in a plane, though. I've been in a plane. Pretty sure I saw a curve. Pretty sure, yeah. Pretty sure I saw a curve. Trying to remember here. I know many report they do. Many report, people around the world report they do. Something you can look up. Whether it's true, maybe they're all suffering from mass psychosis, mass delusion psychosis. It's possible. People, they're crazy, right? People believe crazy things. So, and huge amounts of people do. Imagine people believe in racism, right? Maybe all the people reporting that they saw a curve on a plane are suffering from a mental breakdown. So if I can give you guys a refresher, Robert called my show the other day, and he asked me, why do pilots use the Gleason map, the flat Earth map, a model, a patented map by Alexander Gleason back in the 19th century? Robert asked, why would they use that map to create their flight plans? He also made a couple of other claims related to the topic. So first off, the Gleason map. The Gleason map, patented by this Alexander Gleason, which, I couldn't find too much info about him. I'm sure if I dug harder, I could probably dig harder, but you would think the first thing you get when you search Alexander Gleason is his wiki and all his info, but it wasn't that easy. But he patented this map in the 19th century. The new standard map of the world is called. As you can see, it's flat. It's a circle with these two arms. It's supposed to, those two arms, kind of like the hands of a clock, they're meant to be, they're there to, so that you could tell the time in different parts of the world. So the map, the new standard map of the world, longitude and time calculator. As you can see, the center of this map is the North Pole there. And all around this circle is what is Antarctica, stretched around. Some say that this is the ice wall surrounding us in the flat Earth model. But just starting with this map here, Alexander Gleason himself in the actual patent of this map, okay? When it was patented and all that, Gleason described it as an extortion of the map from that of a globe, mainly in the straightening out of the meridian lines, allowing each to retain their original value, okay? Basically, translation, that he took a globe map, Earth, and stretched it out flat and to get the map that I just showed you, the new standard map of the world, as Gleason called it. So Gleason in the patent itself he didn't call it like a flat Earth model. It's not that simple. It's a little bit more to that. But to be fair, to be accurate here, in the patent, that's how he described it. Just for the sake of being accurate. As well, for the sake of being accurate, I must tell you, Gleason did argue that the Earth was flat. That is apparently true. He wrote books about it. So, that's just to be fair. He did argue that it was flat. It's just that, but he made no comment of this when painting this map. Many say this contradiction was never dealt with. I'm not sure myself, you know. One thing to note from this map that I just showed you, Gleason famously, or I don't know how famously, I didn't hear about it till I Googled it, famously wrote on this very map on the back that this demonstration has reference to either considerations of a Earth as a globe or a plane. Take your choice, is what Gleason said. You could use this map and believe it's that the Earth is a globe or a plane. Either way, it would work, is what he's saying. Now, Robert said this map patented, used by NASA, government documents prove this. I don't know what he meant when he said that. But in this case, you could see how you still should not make a conclusion. Stay in reality. Stay with what you could see, what you know. And I cannot conclude that Robert's statement of these are the government documents prove that this is the flat Earth, you see that it's too far of a conclusion. They're simply using a map, because you could also argue they're just using a map that's stretched, a globe map that's stretched out, as the patent says. So just starting off with this. You see what I'm saying here? You follow me so far? Because we're going to get into this. I found it quite interesting. Just a little bit. So as you can see, that's already too far of a conclusion. Now, Robert brought up flight paths. Okay? And he brought up a specific route. A route between Sao Paulo, Brazil to Johannesburg. And he said that one of his claims is basically that he said that in this route between Sao Paulo, Brazil to Johannesburg, it's common to land in London. Now, I don't know exactly what he meant by that. If you go back to the call, I'm saying yes, I'm nodding because I'm remembering that it's true. I use flat Earth maps to make flight plans, okay? But he made a statement. He said that it's common to land in London. Now, following that framing, you would have to wonder, why would a plane ever do that? If you look at a flat Earth map, you see his reasoning. You see America and America and Africa, they're pretty much, opposite of each other. And if you drew a line, you could see a plane going practically straight through from Brazil upwards through England, and then you can go to Africa, South Africa, etc. But there is no. But let's take a look at this route for a second. Let's actually look into the route that Robert brought up. Okay. Let's look at the flight from Sao Paulo to Johannesburg in SimBrief. Okay, SimBrief is a virtual flight planning solution, and it's what I use to make. To make flight plans, so I can fly them virtually, and we can have fun on Nickstream. So I'm going to open up SimBrief, which uses real world flight data and what's called the AIRAC cycle. Okay, AIRAC is the Aeronautical Information Regulation and Control, an international body basically putting together a lot of information that pilots around the world use. Okay, we're talking about taxiway information, runway information, what's known as SIDS and STARS, SIDs and STARs, which are methods, which are basically the instructions pilots use to take off and land. There are different ways to approach an airport or a runway, and there are different ways to fly out of them. They're called SIDS, STARS, and these AIRAC cycles, a cycle being 28 days, they have to update it every 28 days to stay up to date, is what contains all this information, okay? So I'm going to open up SimBrief here and see if I can throw it up on the screen. Now, give me 1 second here. Hold on. Ba-da-da. There you go. As you can see here, this is SimBrief. Let me know if you guys can hear me while I have this up. I'm wondering if give me a shout out in the chat, because this is kind of fresh tech that we're using here. As I have this screen, if you can hear my voice and see this screen, then we're good. Please let me know. Bear with me, but this is quite interesting. If you could see the screen and hear me, it would be great if you could let me know. I'm gonna keep going in hopes that you could hear me. But here's SimBrief, right? And I'm going to type in the ICAO codes, which is the international codes, for the two airports, one in Brazil, right? Which will be SBGR. And we're flying to Johannesburg, which is FAOR, okay? Now SimBrief also wants me to tell them what plane I'm flying in, so I'll tell them I'm flying a A320neo, and bingo. You can see the most common flight plan between Johannesburg and Brazil. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm seeing? What if I did this? Can you see what I'm seeing now? Nick, this happened last time. If Earth was flat, we'd see the screen. Is the stream going? I'm having issues with the stream now. Oh no. Someone get a bill. Sorry, y'all. Hold on for 1 second here. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hold on, y'all. Bill. The point is, what I'm looking at here is an official, like a flight plan, the most common flight plan between Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Johannesburg, okay? And what you would see here, what I'd be showing you on the screen, is a pretty much direct flight between South America, right, Brazil, and South Africa. Bill, the stream's not seeing that. How come? No biggie. But anyways, what I'm explaining here, like I said, is that the flight path is direct. There is no movement in and around England, London, or anything. In fact, I could not find any commercial flight from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Johannesburg, South Africa. What? You're streaming out of here, that's why. You're streaming out of Wirecast. Oh, okay. No big deal. I understand now why I couldn't show you what I'm seeing, but not that important here. Look, the point is in fact, I could not find any commercial flight from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Johannesburg, South Africa, where there were any stopovers or layovers or whatever, anywhere near London. Layover flights following this plan were in Ethiopia, etc., following the great circle view of flight paths, okay? Flight paths, okay? And what am I talking about? Great circle here. We're going to do a little bit of... Let's do a little bit of, geometry, physics, whatever. What is a great circle distance? Let me show you. On a circle, oh, look, I could just point at it like this. On a circle, a great circle is a circle you could draw around a sphere, okay, all the way around, that would cut it in two. But a great circle distance is the shortest distance between 2 points on the surface area of a sphere, called the great circle distance. Okay? Let's see if I got an illustration for that. Yeah, you see this? Right up here. P and Q. You see? P, Q, That is a great circle distance. It's the shortest distance between 2 points on the surface of a sphere. Okay? So back to Robert's example here. Johannesburg and South Africa. On the Gleason map, it would be a straight line, the shortest path. But on a globe, the shortest distance between Sao Paulo and Johannesburg would be a great circle distance between them, which is what commercial airlines use, okay? You still follow me? You wouldn't need the earlier example that didn't work. You would still be able to follow me, so don't worry about that. Let's look at another example here. Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia, okay? And I'm using this example because some nice person on the internet already made some graphics, so I could easily show you. So, flat Earth, this is the flat Earth. You see this? You see how America, you see how between Australia and Chile, they're pretty much opposite from each other, okay? Do you see that? South America on the bottom left, Australia top right. You see how it would be a straight line. You would fly upwards through America, whatever, and get to Australia. Now, are there any commercial airlines that fly this route? There is, in fact. LATAM Airlines flies a route between the two destinations. Okay? Now, Chile to Australia. This would be the flight. This would be the most logical flight, right? Between, I have a new image now on the screen, between Chile to Australia. That's, you would think, is logical, but this is how LATAM Airlines flies it. They fly it like this, a big old curve across the Pacific Ocean. They fly this route back and forth 4 times a week. This commercial airline trying to make money flies this route like this crazy curve around the Pacific Ocean. Why would they do that? How does that make any sense? Okay, let me show you another image. Oh, let's go. That's not it. Check this out. This is the same LATAM Airlines flight between Sydney, Australia and Santiago, Chile. That's flown across. You see it now on your screen. It takes 12 hours flying east, 14 hours. I mean, let me see my notes here. The route is, I believe, 12 hours east, 14 hours west, okay? As you can see, it's curves around the globe across the ocean on the southern hemisphere. The shortest distance between the two in the great circle distance view of it, okay? Now, looking back at the flat Earth projection of this same route between the two destinations. Oh, not that one. Now, again, you have to ask yourself, why would they fly in a big curve? Also, planes don't constantly pull to the right or left. They fly, they fly in a straight line, so to speak. They fly straight to their destination, to the different waypoints, but eventually to their destination. It's not always pulling to the side, making a big curve around the ocean. It just doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying here? And I see your calls. I will get to you. Thank you so much. Let's see, what else do I have here? Hold on. It just doesn't quite make sense, okay? So there was claims that, I wonder if Robert or people who agree kind of even did they really think about it? Are they just repeating what other people say? Repeating a belief they heard? I realize people that just have beliefs and just believe other people and what they hear are pretty lazy. They're pretty lazy. You know what I mean? They don't want to do their homework. And again, you don't have to do your homework on this kind of stuff. But when you make claims like no Southern Hemisphere routes, like Robert said, there are no Southern Hemisphere routes. I'm not saying that word. I can't say it today. But that's what Robert was saying, that there are no southern hemisphere routes. But looking that up, we can clearly see the most common ones in the example he gave. Johannesburg, Brazil. There are in fact many southern hemisphere routes. And other little things he made claims to, like FedEx. FedEx has a hub in Alaska. And he was wondering, why would they put that a FedEx or a UPS hub or whatever he said all the way out there? Because it's the center of the earth. But looking it up, now maybe UPS is lying. Maybe UPS is part of a grander thing here. Okay, but maybe UPS is lying. But they say they put it there to facilitate delivery between U.S. and East Asia. Now, why would UPS want to go all the way to Alaska and curve around and fly east, go eastward around this huge curve and go the long way if the Earth was flat and they could just go straight? You still following me here? Let me put this picture up here. You see? Now, why would FedEx do that? Maybe because the shortest distance between East Asia and the U.S. is the great distance point between them, going eastward, or west if you're in Asia, going to America. You still follow me? And I believe he also brought up the point, well, why don't planes dip? Okay, so planes are flying out straight, okay? Why don't they account for the curvature of the Earth? If they're flying out straight, aren't they eventually going to fly out into the atmosphere? And higher and higher and higher? Why don't they account for that by dipping their plane downwards and accounting for the curve of the Earth? You follow me? Now, my question, again, I'm not making a claim whether it's flat or not. But I found this whole topic interesting because I was asking Robert, okay, so then what is the approved official statement then? What is the official thinking behind this? Because there are pilots who don't think the Earth is flat. They must have an explanation. They must have an official explanation. Maybe it's the official lie. Maybe it's the official lie. I don't know. But you would have to at least know that to have a conversation, right? And it is not an attack to Robert, but I asked him, what is that? He didn't know. He didn't know. He said, well, no, we've just been lied to. Our whole lives we've been lied to. We've been lied to our whole lives. This whole thing is a lie. They all believe a lie. So if the world is lying to us, okay? The world is lying to us. Everything we taught is a lie. We're being deceived. Does that mean we have to throw out logic and reasoning and become liars too? Do you see what I'm saying here? That's kind of what really interested me about the whole thing. Because there's an official explanation, right? Can we at least get specific and talk about it and see what we conclude? Instead of going off and going way too far ahead. I've done that. We all do that, right? I do. I'm just warning people to be careful with that. Because I notice a lot of people who just follow, they just follow these conclusions without really thinking. They're pretty lazy and they don't deserve the truth. Were you guys following me a little bit there? Was it Nick's been watching NASA Band-Aid videos? Am I a NASA shill? Let me know. Let me check the chat, see if you guys are following me. You guys are funny in the chat. My point being that there's a conversation to be had, but you got to have it. You can't just be crazy and making conclusions. So there's your answer, Robert. That's the official explanation from the pilots on your questions on what you brought up. And now you go from there. You go from there and check your work and check if what you believe is true. But above all that, while you're doing your checking and following the rabbit hole, have a little bit of space between what you're reading and what you're into, so that you don't go crazy, right? Stay in reality and have some fun, and don't get mad. And again, I don't really know. I'm not debunking the flat Earth. I don't know. But on this topic, this is how the conversation should sound like. A logical, honest conversation without going crazy and making conclusions, right? Now, maybe someone would like to tell me why what I said, what the official explanation is, why that's a lie. And here's another side point, and I'll get to calls. Something I noticed while I was looking this all up and all that, doing my homework. I noticed that a lot of these, not a lot, but some of the things that I was looking up, some concepts and stuff, without getting too confusing here, you could apply them to either model, to the globe or the flat one, in some cases. And I just found that quite interesting. It brought me back to Alexander Gleason's little note on the back of this new standard map of the world. He says the demonstrations has reference to either considerations of the Earth as a globe or as a plane. Take your choice. Now, I don't know what it truly means, what it all means, but isn't that there's interesting, no? That some of these concepts can be applied either or. Alexander Gleason's note there. There's something interesting there, but I don't know it. So stay with what you know, right? Very interesting. I found it quite interesting. Did you? I got someone, I think, on hold that found it quite interesting. The coach. I have the coach from Idaho. The coach calling from Idaho. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Nick. Good afternoon, bro.
What's up? Have you ever called my show before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, welcome back. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me again, dude. So
No
I'm
problem.
calling to give you my little 2 cents about the whole flat Earth thing.
Sure.
And I'm cautiously saying the same thing. Like I don't claim to say the Earth is flat or the Earth is banana shaped.
Okay.
And I just saw a meme yesterday of the Earth is actually shawarma shaped. And the sun is a little heat lamp thing.
Oh, for real? I've never heard that.
I've
never heard that before.
Just funny for the lulz. And so for a long time when I had, I guess talked about this with other people.
Okay.
I took the position of, the Earth must be flat in the kind of contrarian way, stir the pot a little bit and maybe have an interesting conversation about it. And then recently I read the book of Job, and at the very end or towards the end, God comes down to Job to talk to him in the whirlwind. And one of the first things he says to Job is, can you tell forth the Mazzaroth? And the Mazzaroth is the Hebrew word for the zodiac, the fixed signs in the sky.
Okay.
And I guess even more so on that, God said, specifically in Genesis, I've created these stars and planets for signs and seasons. And so now I'm under the impression that maybe
it says planets in the Bible?
Perhaps whoever translated it to planets or whatever. And I could be poorly paraphrasing that as well. But, it says they're made for the stars and the signs and seasons. And it seems that if it, how am I able to, just like to use a map, I need to know where I am accurately in order to chart my course and to know where to go. And if God has given us access to these, signs and seasons, it's like a watch or a clock, it's not just all flying randomly about inside there. Okay. There's an order and a fixed logic to it. And to me, it doesn't seem like this little sphere globe thing shooting across the unlimited expanse of outer space, spinning around in a circle at tens of thousands of miles an hour. That just doesn't make sense to me, dude.
So if I could just comment on this real quick, you're saying, are you concluding from the Bible describing the seasons and being able, and the relation of the seasons and all that, and the stars, and being able to tell, the relation between the two? Are you concluding that, is your conclusion basically that because we have that, God gave us this method of, tracking the seasons, using the stars, that that doesn't fall in line with flying through space, like in the way you describe? Is that a fair summary of what you just said?
Sounds that way. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'll work with that for now.
Okay, I got you. But I mean, I don't think it says it either way, because in both descriptions, in both models of the Earth, whatever, you still have the ability, from what I could tell, to there's a relation between seasons and the stars and the constellations, right? Whether the model is flat or not, okay?
Right.
Okay, so the ability to use the stars to tell the seasons is there in either model. So I don't know how you drew that conclusion. We still have that godly given ability in both models. Am I making sense here? Am I following you? I hope I'm following you.
I mean, I guess it's kind of the argument of like, I guess the end result is the same.
Exactly. So how can you conclude either way?
You mean conclude about the shape of the Earth?
Sure.
Well, like I said, I'm not making any conclusions. I'm just saying that, if there is some sort of system, there's an order here. God said, okay, you can look up at the sky and it's going to tell you these things year after year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just pass through Taurus.
Right.
Which, the bull in the sky, that lets all the farmers to know, get out your bulls and plow the fields. My point
simply being that same ability to tell is in both models. So, and your reasoning being that, from what I could tell, is that if God gave us that ability to that year after year, the seasons will be the same, and we could tell through the stars, it's that ability that tells you the Earth is flat, is what you're telling me here, right?
Well, I'm not saying that it's flat or not. I'm just saying that what I'm saying is that the system that is being proposed by the round Earth, the planet Earth, it's Occam's razor. It's not the simplest solution to the problem.
But can you tell the seasons and in accurately year after year, like the farmers do in a globe Earth model?
Allegedly.
Exactly. So that's simply my point, is that can't be your litmus. That can't be your litmus test, because it's the same in both.
Well, that's not very wise though. Like even if the end result is the same, the directions told me to put the brownies in the oven at 350 degrees and I turned it to 380. Well, just because I didn't burn the brownies this time doesn't mean that next time it's going to be the same. There's just it doesn't seem wise. There's no wisdom in it.
We might be getting a little lost here. Is there something you wanted to say about flight plans or something?
Oh yeah, I'm going to shout out a YouTube channel called Vibes of Cosmos.
Don't be doing that, man.
Oh, too late. Anyway, if anyone's interested, do what you want.
No, I already told you not to do that.
They have awesome information about.
Okay, if he's just gonna not listen to me. I mean, you guys understand me, right? Like, there's like a decorum, okay? And after you like put out the info and you're like, oh, don't do that, man. And he's like, okay, well, let me continue talking about it. It's not out of like. It's just decorum, right? I had to do that. I don't know if you're not going to follow. It's nothing against the guy, but if he's just going to promote something. I got Frederick, Los Angeles. Go ahead, sir.
How's it going, Nick? Yeah, that was totally disrespectful. I agree with you. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But this is
because it seems like then it's a different motivation. Oh, he never even called in to talk to me. He called in to promote that.
Yes.
Well, anyways, Freddie, go ahead.
Where is the South Pole on the map that you just showed?
Oh, you're talking about the flat Earth map?
Yes.
The South
Are
Pole.
you saying it takes like
I believe it's that
5
big
times
ring.
longer? Yeah, to navigate that ring, wouldn't that be like 5 times longer to navigate the North Pole on that map? The North Pole looks like the size of Hawaii.
Correct. Okay, so what's going on here? What Alexander Gleason said about his new standard map of the world? He said it was a stretched out globe. Okay, and when you stretch out a globe, it distorts it. Okay, so distances closer to the outer ring are distorted compared to the distances closer to the center. You know what I'm saying here?
Right.
Is that what you're asking? Because from what I could tell, the South Pole is that white ring around this. I'm showing it right now. It's that white ring, okay? Which is,
and the distortion is
Antarctica.
That is really, it's really not that far. The distance
Correct.
is not the same as it looks. It really, are you saying that it shrinks back down to the size of the bottom of the equator? It's not wider than the equator.
Yeah, it's not
actually
exactly. It's distorted. If I have this example here this example here might explain it better. Let me pull it up. I showed this.
Corrected.
Sorry,
Right,
go ahead. Okay, let me explain this real quick.
Okay.
As on the screen, I have this curved line. This curved line shows the route that LATAM Airlines takes from Chile, Santiago, Chile, to Sydney, Australia. Okay, this is the commercial airline route it takes. It does not take a straight line on the flat Earth. That distance, that curved distance you're seeing on your screen, is actually shorter. It looks like really far. It looks like they're taking a long, but it's actually much shorter. It looks like really far because it's, like I said, it's a stretched out globe that's distorted.
Yeah.
Is that an answer to your question?
No, not really. Like a car. Okay, you know how speed control works in your car?
How what control works in the car?
Speed control.
Cruise control?
Cruise control, yeah, cruise control. All right, when you're going up a hill, it kicks in and it keeps the same speed, right?
Okay.
Now, you're a pilot. I want you to explain to me, like, once you're 20,000 feet in the air,
yeah,
that's above sea level, right?
Okay.
Does the plane automatically stay bringing itself down to stay 20,000 feet above the ground? Since the ground is,
right.
If you was flying straight, the plane would keep elevating above ground because the ground is
totally.
curving. You can't fly it straight. You got to stay
Absolutely.
10,000, and you're going to curve. Even though you're flying straight,
I
you're
totally
curving
gotcha.
at 10,000 feet above the ground, and the ground stays the same.
Yes,
The
simply
plane
put. Okay, sorry.
stays the same. It's not
Totally.
curving.
Absolutely. So simply put, what you're describing is if you're flying, if the Earth is a ball and you're flying straight, wouldn't you eventually eventually go higher and higher if you didn't account for the curve and point the nose downward? Is what you're asking, right?
Right.
But what you're not this is the official explanation, okay? This is the response to what you're asking. And it makes sense to me, right? I'm not making any claims here, but it makes sense. Is that when you're flying a plane when you're flying a plane level, you're maintaining the same altitude all the way throughout, correct? Like if a flight when I fly from JFK to LAX on Nickstream, I maintain the same altitude all the way across 38,000 feet. Okay.
That don't mean it's a straight line.
But hold on.
It's the
If
same
you're
altitude.
maintaining the same altitude, you got to understand this, okay? You got to understand that when you're flying a plane, you have a little altimeter, okay? It tells you how high you are. You're maintaining a altitude, okay? If you maintain an altitude, what are you essentially doing? You're essentially flying. You're essentially
parallel to the ground.
Okay, but if altitude if you're flying parallel, if you're maintaining an altitude all the way across, altitude is in relation to the Earth. You see what I'm saying here? Am I making sense?
Yes, the ground. Right. It's gonna be.
But if your
curvature.
altitude never changes, that means you're following the curve of the Earth. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they build a Hubble scope instead of put satellites up?
Wait, don't move on to something else. What do you think about that? If you maintain altitude, you would be maintaining the curve of the Earth. Is that making sense to you?
Yes, that's exactly my point of the flat Earth motto, not flying in a straight line. It's not actually flying in a straight line because you're going to have to fly the curvature of the Earth, period, or you're going to fly into the hills, or you know what I'm saying?
Ask your question again. I missed it.
On the map.
Ask your question again. I missed it.
I said you can't fly straight on the map. That's what I was getting at. The flat Earth motto is not real. Of course they thought that at one time. You should be able to zip line from country to country if the Earth was flat.
And
you should be able to use the Hubble telescope to see China right now.
Oh, is that so? I haven't done my homework on all that. But it is straight lines. Just to be clear here, planes do fly straight, but just not straight on a flat Earth. They fly straight on a globe. Like I just described earlier, the great circle distance between 2 points is a curved line, right, of a circle.
Right.
And so they do fly in straight lines, but it's straight on a globe. Like in my example of Johannesburg to Brazil. They don't go straight to London. They go straight to Johannesburg.
If they distort in the shape of the map, as far as that South Pole, they need to distort the shape of the countries and don't make them look like, oh, the country's not distorted, just the shape of the map. Like you drawing it out to confuse people, to whereas the equator would be so wide and all these other countries the same size, and it's not even totally accurate.
Okay.
I
got you. So you're saying
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got what you're saying. The straight line between 2 points in a flight plan is the curve.
I think flat Earth, like the Bible's falling apart. Look at this. Let's focus on flat Earth over here. We're not going to talk about the Bible no more. We don't want the debunking and the truth to come out about the falsehood, so we're going to focus on flat Earth. Everybody follow me. Look at this. This is a distraction. Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Have a great show.
Yeah, it can be quite distracting. Thanks, Frederick. Appreciate your call. Oh, sorry about that. I see you guys in the chat. Something about gravity. I saw something about gravity. Now, I don't like I said, I did my homework on just this, but the whole plane and the nose of the plane pointing up or down thing to maintain level flight, from what I could tell, has nothing to do with gravity. So I don't know why you guys are bringing up gravity. A plane maintaining the same altitude in a globe Earth model that is essentially following the curve of the Earth because you are level altitude. You see what I'm saying here? Am I making sense? Do you see my hands right now? You got to look at my hands. Maybe it'll make more sense if you look at my hands, okay? Because if you were the same altitude here, you would see the same altitude over here, and you would follow a curve. Come on, that's got to make some sense. I don't know how gravity plays here, but I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. And someone else said, "Bro, Nick, what did you say? Bro, Nick, you're not understanding. You have to account for the curve." Wait, I missed it. The chat's gone. Nick, bro, you're not understanding. The plane would need to adjust for the curve of the Earth. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by it has to adjust? I don't know what you mean by that. Okay. Oh, should I take one more flat Earth call or get into the next topic? Okay, Joshua, California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
What's up, Nick? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Joshua? I'm just fine, thanks.
How you doing, man?
Just fine, man. Thanks.
Right on. Well, this whole globe Earth model is pretty satanic. And you look at it, when you think of gravity, you just brought up, or whoever, Isaac Newton, that was it 1666, right? And the moon landing was in 1969. So it's kind of the same numbers, but inverted. And then the tilt of the Earth, they say, is 23.4, and the inverse of that on a 90-degree angle is 66.6. And then all these crazy speeds were spinning 1,000 miles per hour, chasing the sun, millions of miles per hour, also going around it at the same time. It's completely doesn't make sense. And they come up with these big numbers to make you think like, oh, I can't think that far or hard. Those numbers are too big, you know?
So then what does make sense to you?
Stars are always fixed. And if we're growing all these crazy speeds and traveling and doing all this, they wouldn't be in the same place, you know?
So then what does make sense to you?
We wouldn't be able to use those for directions if we're going all these crazy speeds and directions. And how would we follow stars? They'll be going their own crazy speeds and directions.
Okay, so then what do people who believe in the globers say about that?
Which part?
How are we able to follow stars and their positions if we're flying at these crazy speeds? You're saying that makes no sense when we can track stars and all that. So then people who believe in the globers, how do they explain the ability to track stars and all that?
I don't know how they explain it.
What if it made sense? What if their explanation made sense? You don't even know, and you've already made an assumption that it's satanic.
No, I'm not making an assumption it's satanic. There's a lot of things that point to it. That, you know, I've been into this flat earth thing for like 7 years now.
Really?
You know? And you kind of, like, you pick up on all these things, and the more you know it, the more you see it. And it's hard to deny it, you know?
And so,
like how you're saying.
And so what is satanic? What does that mean? Like the number 666 is satanic?
That's what they say. The mark of the beast, right?
What's more satanic?
Not satanic, but
what's more satanic, Joshua? The number 666 or assuming and making conclusions?
There's no assumption or conclusion.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm not, and this is not an attack on you. I'm not saying you're assuming. Let's just say in general. It's not an attack on you. In general, a person assuming and making conclusions and believing something without knowing, or the number 666. No. What's more satanic?
I agree. Okay. I agree. I'm saying I see it. I don't.
Wait. What do you agree with? What? You agree with what? I'm not sure what you're saying.
I'm not saying that the Earth is 100% flat or that it's 100% satanic, but it seems that way to me. And when you look at it, you see how it's written into the model. You know, you heard of Baal, like B-A-A-L. It's like a satanic.
So again, what's more satanic?
So that's Baal worship. Baal Earth.
Well, hold on, Joshua. What's more satanic? Something named Baal, or a person, and not specifically you, a person making a conclusion or assumption without knowing?
Well, I don't know if that's satanic. It might be foolish. But I'm not going to sit here and like.
I think it might even be satanic because I think I might go even a little farther. It is foolish. You're right about that. I'd say it might even be satanic. Definitely more satanic than any sick number or weird numerology, which may have some satanic thing. I just don't know. But to me, as a person, kind of just more seeing what's in front of me, a person making a conclusion, a false conclusion in their mind, which is Satan's playground, and making a conclusion without really knowing, I think that's way more satanic than any number or Baal or something's called Baal worship. That's like fantasy and comic book stuff, in my opinion.
All right. Well, Nick, take it this
something's
way.
called Baal worship. That's so scary. You know what's really scary? People believing lies.
Reverse what you're saying. Okay. And you're saying you believe the Earth is a ball, and the majority of the people say it. And then what do they base that on? Where is that truth that everybody knows that and they can all say that?
That's a good question, man. That's actually a really good question, and that's why another part of this conversation is interesting. It kind of makes you examine what you think you know, and so I'm not going to sit here and say I know all the globe Earth arguments. I know them very well, and I'm here making a claim like that. I wouldn't say that because I just don't know. And people, for example, someone asked me on this topic. Someone asked me if a helicopter just flew in stationary. Why doesn't the Earth just be, and let's say a helicopter goes up into the air and stays in the air stationary for some time, and it comes back down to the Earth. Would it land in the same spot, or would it be somewhere new because the Earth rotated beneath it?
Well, I would think, that the Earth would have moved on, and it would land in a different place. But you got
well, that's
clouds
not what
that aren't
happens.
flying anywhere. They're stationary, but a balloon with helium will just go up into the air and make its own path, right? But it's not.
Well, if you're interested in the answer, if you're interested at all, number one, I brought that example up because it made me question assumptions. Like, well, I actually don't know what I know. So I do like what you said, man. It's true. We think we know, we don't. But if you're interested in the answer, it comes down. It doesn't. The helicopter comes down in the same spot because the atmosphere around the helicopter, at least according to the official explanation, is that the atmosphere around the helicopter is moving alongside the Earth. So the helicopter is not just in the air, like in a vacuum. It's in a medium. The medium being the atmosphere of the Earth, which is moving with the Earth, is the official explanation. In case you wanted to know.
No, I get that, but it doesn't make sense to me that air is stuck with gravity, but a balloon can float away from the Earth, right? So how is gravity not affecting the balloon, but these air molecules in the atmosphere is all being pulled with the spin of the Earth?
I don't know, man.
That's just illogical in my mind.
Well, isn't helium really light?
It doesn't matter.
Like a balloon,
is air lighter than helium?
Well, actually, yeah.
Gravity,
isn't that true though? Now again, wait, but isn't that true? Isn't there some air lighter than other airs? Like not all air is made up of different things. It's made up of helium, made up of different molecules, right? And some of those are lighter than the others. What?
Helium goes up because it's less dense than the air around it.
So then wouldn't that make sense? So then does that not make sense to you that a helium balloon would go up?
No, it does make sense to me because it's not attached to gravity, and it's less dense than the air, so it goes up. So anything more dense would fall. When I pick my foot up off the ground, it's not being pulled to the ground.
But you just told me that helium is lighter than air. So then I'm just following your logic. The balloon would go up. That shouldn't be a surprise to you, is what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's less dense. I don't know about the weight. I'm saying density. Like you can put like oil and water, right? It doesn't mix. Oil won't go.
But being less dense is lighter.
Because there's no gravity's not pulling it down through the water.
Mm.
So you could look at different densities, put them in a tube, different liquids, and you'll see they'll all separate. Because it's not sinking all to the bottom and mixing. It's a density. So I can't go through the ground because the ground's more dense than me, right?
Okay.
But I can jump in water and I can go through it, but I might be buoyant enough and float to the top because I'm not more dense than the water.
What part of a balloon full of less dense and lighter air floating higher than the more dense, heavier air below it does not make sense to you?
No, it doesn't make sense. I'm saying it makes sense because it's less dense than the air.
I must have misunderstood.
I'm saying it's not because of gravity. I'm saying it's a different reason.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your call. It's definitely interesting, man. I do appreciate it.
Right on. Good topic, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Moving the wheels. Dang, look, guys, we've spent an hour on this. Holy, time flew. I keep getting some notification here. I keep getting distracted. My apologies. We spent so much time on this. Took calls. What else should we do here? Let's take one more call. Nick, please ask caller which... Oh, don't want to read that out loud. Let me check real quick here. I must check something. And yes, I believe I do have a super chat from, is it Levi? Thank you so much for your super chat. Says, Bill, fix it and fix it now. With lots of love, of course. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for your support. Let me take Robert out of Kansas since I did bring him up earlier. Thanks for your call, Robert. Go ahead.
Well, hey, Nick, thanks for, everything you've been talking about today. Your show is really tending towards that direction, and I didn't expect that, but I just want to say thank you for questioning things. It's not like I would expect you to believe anything that I would just say in the moment, and then all of a sudden you believe that. You know, when I was told initially the earth was flat, it was like, well, is this person crazy? Are they stupid? What's wrong with them? I thought there was something wrong with them, and so it's one of those things where it took me a couple years, really, whenever I had to purchase a telescope. I had to travel what is essentially the Midwest United States, going to different bodies of water, measuring the curve that I thought would be there. I truly, when Robert was a little boy, he wanted to be an astronaut, guys. Like, you got to understand, like, I'm the biggest globe Earth, space believing, Star Wars watching, Star Trek, like that's all my stuff. Like, I was so into that. And so what I'm saying is that it kind of broke my heart whenever I realized that maybe I'm being lied to about this. And my goal was to set out to disprove these stupid, crazy flat earthers that are just, they have to be the dumbest people in the world. And when you set out with the mathematics of NASA, the 25,000 mile, circumference Earth, and you have a decent amount of optics, because that's the thing, is that consumer optics have kind of outpaced their lie, where you can just go by a telescope. You can see 300 miles, guys. I mean, you can see so far that it's not even funny. So I really would just say to everybody, the truth is somewhere. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying I'm right. All I need you guys to realize is that the people who control the world, they want to deceive you. And so maybe it's flat, maybe it's not. But if they're telling you it's this way, I bet you anything that it's probably different from what they're saying.
Okay. But what do you
and that's all, maybe it's not flat, guys. Maybe
fair enough, man. I appreciate your call.
Okay.
I definitely appreciate your call. What do you think about my point, though? I'm bringing this up today, being that you had called in with a specific assertion. Okay, you had called in with a. This is really the point of why I even brought this up. It wasn't even to figure out if the Earth is flat or not, because I don't know. It may very well be, but you called in with you asserted a few things, and then tried to you tried to bolster that assertion with false claims that you didn't look into. Number one, okay, let me just say this. You called in to say that flight paths, you made the point that basically that pilots, the flight paths they use are basically like straight lines on a Gleason map. But I showed that that's just not true. They're actually great circle distances, curved distances between the 2 points. And then the examples, and then I went through the examples you brought up, how the examples you brought up weren't true either. You said there were no southern hemisphere routes. You said that the flight between Sao Paulo, Brazil to Johannesburg stops in London. All things that were not true. Didn't that make you at least wonder, didn't that at least make you examine and go like, why did I just believe those things without looking into it or leaving some space for doubt? You asserted those things as fact.
Well, that's why I'm thinking you. That's why I'm thinking you, Nick. Is that I'm not, like in terms of information you have found that would contradict what I said before. I don't disbelieve you. I think that you could find that information, that it would be a southern route. But what I'm saying to you is that I've looked into this for a long time.
Okay. Well, help me understand. That's my point here. If I'm this person who's this lost, if I'm this lost and I'm not saying you're calling me this, but if I'm this lost person who believes in the lie of the globe Earth, wouldn't you be able to explain to me why I'm wrong instead of giving me false assertions like the ones I brought up?
Well, you say that my assertions are false when you found information that contradicted it because it's from an official source. Okay. So you're saying that, United Airlines is saying they have a flight from a southern route. So you're saying United Airlines is the one telling you the truth, that the World Economic Forum is telling you the truth, that COVID is a real thing because the people who control the world are telling you the truth, when in fact you can see that COVID is not real.
But wouldn't you be able to explain to me? Wouldn't you be able to explain to me why you were wrong about the route between Johannesburg and Johannesburg and Brazil without having to go into COVID and the World Economic Forum? Wouldn't you be able to explain that to me very clearly?
Well, because that you have the, I don't want to use the wrong terms here, like hate, right? We can't ever say anything against, what kids would hear. But if you have the guts, Nick, to come on your show and at least entertain the idea that I gave to you last time, I just want to say thank you. And that's all that is that the fact that you would even
totally, man. Maybe one day I'll even arrive to flat Earth. Who knows? Following this, but I'm not interested in that right now. I'm interested in you and you not being able to explain to me very clearly. I'm this person who's lost, right? I'm this person who doesn't get it. Wouldn't you be able to explain to me these simple things? Like, why you said there are no Southern Hemisphere routes, and I quickly found that that's not true. What is the answer then? What is the what am I getting wrong here? Wake me up, Robert. Help me out here.
You found some official information.
What's
Nick,
wrong with the official information is what I'm asking you. What are they lying about? Help me here. Help me. Wake me up.
No, Nick, I can't, man. Like, it's all like the truth is going to be wherever you see it. It's all around us. It's everywhere. And so it's not a matter of me telling you that you're being lied to by the government. Like, you got to figure it out, bro. Like, they're lying to you about
But I'm
everything.
here asking for help. I'm here, a lost brother, asking my brother, help, wake me up. You have the answer. You have the answer as to why there are no Southern Hemisphere routes and why the answer and why the information I found is faulty. Why won't you help me out of the lie?
I don't have the answer, brother. I am just trying to figure it out like you. Like, I'm trying, and all I'm saying is
that is an honest and fair answer, Robert. Thank you. You don't know.
You're right.
You called in saying you knew. You called in saying you knew, just to be fair, but thank you for that. No, you don't know.
Sir, I appreciate your question today.
Yes.
That you're saying that you don't know, and I don't know either. And that's the point, is that all we have to realize is that the people who are telling us the official narrative, they're lying. And so I don't know what it is.
So then you should stay in logic. If everyone's lying to you, you should stay in logic and not start making conclusions, not call into a show, say, oh, you found some official information telling you there's Southern Hemisphere routes, but I know otherwise, when we now have concluded you actually don't know. Instead of doing so the world's lying to you, why act like that? Why not stay in reality and just know what you know? You see, am I making sense here?
Yeah, Nick, listen, the fact that you dedicated the first hour to this, I just want to say I thank you so much. And it's not like I have all the answers. I'm 30 something years old. I'm trying to figure this stuff out myself. And
all right,
it's
man.
like, so I just want as a general idea, just realize that the people who control the world are not telling you the truth.
Right on, Robert. I do appreciate your call, man. Thanks again, and call me again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Nick. Bye-bye.
No problem. Moving the wheels. Hake says in the chat, the truth is within. It's not outside. Yes! And that's kind of like the point here. I know it's flat Earth, and we're like going back and forth, and people in the chat are like, this is boring, but if you've been listening to me, if you were really, really listening to me, that's been my point, is this kind of like self-examination of our own logic and how we arrive to things, okay? That's really been the crux here. The truth is within. Awesome. Thank you for your calls. Let me do this, because I do have another topic. I did work on a little other topic, okay? It wasn't just all flat earth, all right? It's about the blacks. Because there's a couple clips that went viral. I have 3 of them for you. And it's important to point out, okay? You hear about this on the shows, so you might get a little like, about it. But a couple clips went viral. And you guys, someone name me any other group of people who can film themselves doing these things I'm about to show you, and then also claim they're oppressed, they're living in a racist society, that they can't get ahead because they're being held down by this systemic racism, that they need reparations because they were denied, so all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Tell me what group gets to do both at the same time, okay? We're going to get into it, okay? This first clip here, it's just a prank, bro. It looks like a couple of guys, but one of them is the one we see in the video on screen, and he's doing a little prank. It's just a prank, bro. And he has what looks like a gas canister, or one of those, what are they called? What are those, like, plastic jerry cans? What are they called? You know, where you put the gasoline in, okay? The big red tubs with the gas and the spout, okay? You know what I'm saying here? Jeez. And so in, Frederick in the chat says, disavow, Nick, don't start. And so this guy, you see this? He's got this, what looks like gasoline. It's water. It's not gasoline. And he's just pranking people. It's just a prank, bro. Oh, no. I don't see it in my clips here. Hold on. Okay, anyway, so I'll run over. I bet you I have it on the computer over there. I'm going to run over and play it for all of you here in a moment. But like I described, this guy's just doing a prank, and some people he's pranking on, they're not happy with the prank. So let me run over and play it.
Come on, man. Burning your car down, bro. Your car, man. Over. All of this. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just a prank. Just lighting your car on fire. It's just a prank. Look, he's chasing the one he's pranking there. Trying to pour water on him. Older white man in his truck. Check this one out.
Kanye 2020. What?
It's water. It's a prank. Smell it's water. See?
It better be water, partner, or you're one dead son of a bitch. You stay out of this.
You seen that? The man is armed.
I don't want to do that. You almost died, you stupid son of a bitch.
As you saw in the second interaction, the man is armed, causing the prankster, the harmless prankster, to quickly change his tune and say, hey, it's just water, okay? The older man tells him, you almost died, okay? I don't want to do it. He says, I don't want to do it, but you almost died, you stupid. You almost forfeited your life. And so when the older armed individual tells the young black guy what he almost did, what's the prankster's response? F you. Female body part. And so look, I mean, couldn't he have just said like sorry if it was just a prank? You know what I mean? Like, just why not just apologize? But here's the thing: part of the viral shock value of this video is it's not that it's just a prank. It's really not, because part of the value of the video, the virality of the video is, look how far I can go with these people, okay? And with these black pranksters, it's not just like an extra thing. It's a feature of their content. Look how wild and far I can go with the general public, with white public. That's kind of subtext there, but it's there. And no one's going to do anything, okay? What about filming themselves doing crimes? Okay. I'm going to have to run over and play this one as well. But in this one, and I believe this is like, I don't think this is in America. This might be the UK. 3 young black pranksters filmed themselves just walking into people's homes. Hold on.
Get into random houses, let's go.
James, come to the front door right now, please.
James. James. Hi. You man, come.
Hello, James.
We need to speak to James.
James.
Hi.
James.
Is this where the study group is?
No. No.
What door number is this?
No.
Study group.
Brazen. You seen this? You heard the like kind of fear in the woman's voice, like, James, you got to come here.
But this is not
like,
what the
right
study
now.
group.
got kids, man.
Oh, you got kids? Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought this was a study group.
I thought this was a study group, mate.
It's a study group.
I thought it was the study group, mate. Somewhere in the UK. Who, like, what the heck? Like, filming themselves doing crime, like, just brazen. Like I said, it's a feature of that content. Okay? And this is in another country, too. And they're just as loud. They're just as loud. And victims over there as well. Okay? Last one here. And this was I cut out the most violent parts, and it is blurred, but I cut it out. But basically, there's a story of this guard in San Francisco. And this guard, San Francisco security guard, will not be charged in fatal shooting of suspected Walgreens shoplifter. Let me show you another feature of black privilege, okay? And this one's not even this guard's fault, okay? Just the way the world is right now. And like I said, this guard, like the headline said, this guard killed a shoplifter, okay? There's some interesting details about this, shoplifter person? We'll open that in a moment here, but here's the clip. And as you can see, it starts with a scuffle. The security guard is in black, holding him down. The shoplifter puts him in a rear chokehold, okay? You seeing this? Is that a rear naked chokehold? Don't know the diff. But he puts him in a chokehold. Look, he's got him from the back, chokehold style. Reminds me of a certain Marine. Scuffle, scuffle, scuffle. Guy gets up, still attempts to take stuff and leave. Now, I don't know what caused this black security guard to go and shoot him dead. We'll move on from the clip there. It is blurred, but no need to show more. Not sure. I don't even know, what made him escalate to that point. Justified or not. I don't know. But we're seeing here, CNN, the San Francisco security guard will not be charged in fatal shooting of suspected Walgreens shoplifter, okay? The security guard who shot and killed a suspected shoplifter at a Walgreens in downtown San Francisco will not face criminal charges, the district attorney's office announced Monday, saying the shooter acted in self-defense. The district attorney's office under Brooke Jenkins released surveillance video, blah, blah, blah. According to the report, the guard said Brown had repeatedly threatened to stab him prior to the shooting. Police did not find a knife in Brown's possession. But prosecutors still determined his fear was reasonable, given the totality of the circumstances, including the threat that Anthony, the security guard, believed and could reasonably believe. The evidence shows that Brown's shooting was not a criminal act because Anthony acted in lawful self-defense. Wow. I mean, I already alluded to it, but I'm drawing this parallel and double standard between the Daniel Penny situation. In New York, the subway hero who put that who put the MJ impersonator, and I'm forgetting his name, in a chokehold which ended in the Jordan Neely's death. I don't know if you can't say that's what this Daniel Penny meant to do. He never meant. I don't think you can say he meant to do that. And of course, I'm drawing the parallel here to point out the double standard. I mean, it has to be done. It maybe some of you find it overdone, but it's the world we're living in. I mean, you got to take in the double standard here. Black security guard killed the shoplifter, okay? Shot him. The shoplifter was walking away, right? Walking away. He's not a threat anymore. Where's the riot, the protests? Where is all that? The selective outrage. You got to think about this. Where's the calls for, well, he was just a person who was in a bad situation, who was forced to steal out of his circumstances. In the case of the shoplifter in San Francisco, the shooter said he felt threatened due to the threats that were being made by the person that died. Not unlike the Daniel Penny situation where this Jordan Neely was making threats, acting erratic. Tell me how it's different. In fact, I'll tell you the difference. The difference is the security guard in San Francisco had a gun and shot the guy to death. Like he like actively did that. Like, I don't know if he shot him and meant to kill him, but you can see that's quite different than, I'm going to try and restrain this guy with a chokehold. Oh crap, he died. Oh, I'm going to chokehold this guy, restrain this guy who's being he died. I didn't mean to do that. Very different from, okay, this guy's walking away with merchandise. Yeah. Bang, bang, you're dead. So quite different, at least in that regard. And here's another difference, the race. The race is different. It was a white Marine guy who accidentally killed, allegedly, Jordan Neely. That's the difference here. That's the difference. And there are groups. There are groups and institutions that pushing pushing this Daniel Penny story, making it about racism and all that is way more lucrative and strategically important than bringing attention to some story of a black security guard shooting a black shoplifter. Okay? That's it. Oh, yeah, and there was some interesting point here, too, about this shoplifter. What was it about the shoplifter here? Let me pull it up, this Revolver article. There's a case unfolding in San Francisco. It's causing a lot of concern. A young black transvestite was caught shoplifting, and as a result, a black security guard ended up shooting and killing him. So apparently, the shoplifter was a transvestite, according to this Revolver News article. So, geez, what's going on? What is going on with the world, huh? I believe I have, was it a super chat? Let me pull that up. Super chat for John WX25. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much. Starved Baby, also with a super chat, says the word is with God and the word is God. The lost history of flat Earth on YouTube. Nice. Well, thank you, Starved Baby, for your super chat and your support. All right, y'all. It's been a show. I had fun. I hope you did too. That's pretty much the show. That's all I got for you guys. Okay. Ask ChatGPT why you can't go to Antarctica. Okay, sure. Let's ask ChatGPT why you can't go to Antarctica. See, I don't know if you can or can't. I've heard something about that you can't fly over it. Is that true? I don't know. I heard that there are no flights that fly over Antarctica. Now, I wonder if it's for the same reason that there are flights over the Pacific Ocean, but flight plans try and avoid it Because if you can avoid flying over a huge body of water where there's nowhere to land and nowhere to help you, no one to help you should you have any issues, wouldn't you want to avoid that, even if it might make the flight a little longer? I wonder. I don't know. I just don't know. But okay, fine. Chat is asking me to ask ChatGPT. Okay, new chat. Why can't you fly over Antarctica? Let's see what the AI says, y'all. But that's not true, and the chat says you can't. You can't go there or fly over it. Okay, ChatGPT says you can fly over Antarctica, and many flights do pass over the continent. However, the number of commercial flights over Antarctica is relatively limited compared to other regions. Reasons are lack of infrastructure. Antarctica has limited infrastructure and few airports. 2, harsh weather conditions. It's a remote location, and environmental considerations. There are environmental concerns related to air travel over Antarctica. However, it's worth noting that there are specialized flights and tours that offer scenic trips over Antarctica for tourists and researchers. These flights typically depart from nearby locations like Australia or New Zealand and provide aerial views of the continent without landing. Take from that what you will, chat. AI does lie. So, ChatGPT is programmed to lie, so take that how you will. And it's been fun. Take care, y'all. That's the show. Of course, follow and subscribe American Anchor Baby on Rumble and YouTube. Follow me on Twitter here if you want to. Gorgonzola. And, of course, we'll be back tomorrow at noon for more American Anchor Baby. It's been a slice. Appreciate you guys. And catch me tomorrow. Bye.